Well, we maintained it until after the Second World War. And I guess people used to come down for the summer. The people that had the cottages down here would come down and down along the shore and on vacations and time. And then I think a lot of people that were stationed up in Camp Edward during the Second World War, they liked the Cape down there. So when they got out of the service, I think a lot of them decided to come down here and move down here to live.
Yeah.
And so what happened was the real estate people got interested in it, and the land was very cheap. You could buy it for practically nothing, and so the developers started to come down and look around. And I remember, for instance, this piece of land right here. My brother Cuddy and Carol owned 23 acres of land down here. They bought over on the other side, but this side of the little dirt road at that time, they owned 3.5 acres here. So my wife and I were living up in Holbrook at the time, and we had just got married a while and lived up there. And one day, my sister-in-law, she was on the tax collector, so she called me up one day and she wanted to know if we were going to move back down here and if we would be looking for any land or anything to build a house on. So I said, yeah, I'd like to move back down someday, you know. So she said, well, I'll tell you what, she said, my brother Cuddy and her owned 23 acres of land. And she said 7 acres of that land is on this side of the road. And they wanted to keep all the land on that side of the road. So they said, if you want a piece of land, we'll deed this 7 acres over to you so that you could have a piece of land on this side if you decided to build. So we said, okay, we'll take it, you know. So about maybe a year or so later, she called me up one day up when I was living up at Holbrook there, and she said she wanted to let me know that there was going to be a land auction down here. And she said, there's a piece of land right next door to the piece that we gave you. She said, it's going to come up for auction. And she said, and it's only $30. And she said, would you be interested in it? I said, sure. So she said, well, I'll let you know when the auction starts. So she did. It was in October, I think. So I came down, and at that time, the town office was up there where the old USO building used to be up there on 130. So we came down and we sat there, and she started the auction off with a couple of different pieces of land. And when she came to this piece here, she said that they were going to build, it was up for taxes for $30. 3.5 acres of land. So she said, anybody wants to bid on it can bid on it. So this little guy was sitting right beside me, and he was a speculator. He had this little black book, and he was going all over the place at that time down along the shore, and he was picking up any piece of land that he could for taxes, cheap. So he's sitting beside me, and when she said that the auction is going to start off at $30 for the piece of land. So the little guy, he put in a bid for $30, and I put in a bid for $31. And he turned to me and he said, "Are you interested in that piece of land?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Because it abuts another piece that I have right here." So he said, "Oh," he said, "I'm just a speculator." He said, "So," he said, "I won't be against you, you know." So my sister-in-law said, taxes was, like I say, it was $30, not $31. So she said, if it's no more bid, we'll close it. So she gave me the 3.5 acres of land for $31. And that gave me 7 acres of land altogether with the piece that they had already given me. So that's how I got this land along the shore here. But a lot of the speculators were going down because along the shore, people were looking for places along the shore to build, and so that's why New Seaburg got started, and all of this land. And that town hall on the Thursday night up there, you couldn't get into it because of the people that were looking to go in and buy, because the land was so cheap, but the people here were so poor that they couldn't afford to pay $10 or $15 for 30 or 40 acres of land. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think Freddie Park, he told me one time, his family down where New Seabury is now, they own about 30 acres of land, that whole waterfront all along there. And he only owed about $300 on it, and they couldn't even pay it, you know?
Oh.
So these speculators come in down there, grab that land up for practically nothing. And that's how we lost New Seabury and all that land. Papaneset, same way, everything, I'm telling you.
There had to be an act of Congress for us to lose our land, you know? And they just, built up all them houses and sold them to people and never told them,
No?
Right.
you know? So they don't care. My grandmother Lena, she saved everything. And she had a commissioner's deed from the early 1800s that was given to her grandmother for a piece of land here in Mashpee.
Yeah.
What they were doing was giving our people these pieces of paper saying you owe this, you own this land, this piece of land.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell them, well, now you got to go down to the registry of deeds and register it,
taxes.
or it won't be legal. They didn't say all that.
Oh, yeah.
So they had these pieces of paper thinking they owned something when it will,
Just look around. Things hasn't changed since we became federally recognized. Everywhere you look in the town of Mashpee, they're building nursing homes and all that, and there's not that many elders here. Now, who wants to live in a 3-story building like you're in a city? But what they're doing is trying to use all the virgin land that's left. In case our land ever went into trust, there wouldn't be that much left,
Yeah.
And if you look around,
like when the Mohegans, when they got all their money, they were going around buying back their land. They might be thinking, oh, if they get money, they're going to come around and want to buy all the stuff back from us. I say, don't give them nothing.
Chief Lightbox,
that's what I was
he
talking about.
said that many, many times about if you have to buy it all back.
That's why they all got title insurance, because they know that this could happen.
Yep.
Cash in your title insurance and move somewhere else. This land don't mean nothing to them.
No.
They're not going to lose out. It's all how you present it to them.
Yeah.
That's why they have title insurance, because this could happen. They'd probably be better off.
They got plans for all that rotary, all that land around the rotary up there. In another 5 or 6 years, you won't know it.
Just recently, the council was going to the town hall. It was like, well, they want to build up around there. They want to build all these things. I'll tell them, I was going, back in the early 80s, I had seen the plans because I was working on the town, and I had seen the plan for what they originally wanted to do. They wanted to build up all coming out onto 28 down where Dick and Ellie used to be, cross street over there by Trout Farm behind the picnic box. They wanted to build in there behind where the telephone company. That whole area was supposed to build up, and at one time they was even talking about changing the rotary. They didn't know. I had seen something one time where they was gonna make like from 28 to 28, make a overpass, and then have Great Neck Road connect
Like a
and
flyover, like they did.
like a flyover.
Yeah. No.
And then there was another one where they wanted to have a tunnel for 28 to connect, but then you still had Great Neck North and 151, And I was like, oh, they're trying to, I was like, they've been talking about that since the early '80s.
Yeah.
You know, this is nothing new. Back in the early '70s, when they started all these different ones moving into once they got all the native people out of the town.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They went and got those positions as assessors. As soon as they got the assessors, first thing they did, they went into the books. Oh, here's 28 acres or 30 acres. Oh, they ain't paid tax. They started paying the tax. Once you stop paying the tax, you own it.
Yeah.
So that's what they went through that book like, and every big parcel that they could find and pay the taxes on. And once they got that parcel, because the lot size for building a house is like quarter acre. So if it was like 20 acres, they'd jam 50, 60 houses in there.
They jam 'em in
And
there.
as long
Make a whole
as
building.
once that goes onto the books, it's on the books forever.
Yeah.
that-
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean that you gotta build right away, because there's been years that we've gone hunting in certain areas, going there, hunt, following year you come back, you go like, the hell? When they put that road in? It'll be a big road, and it would be just the time that the market for, the housing market was up. So that was the opportunity to come in, bang out houses, but then they made them change the lot sizes. So now they had to eliminate so many houses, and then they had to have so much open space. So if they had 60 houses in there, they probably end up maybe doing only 30. But that was over time where
Well,
they
you
kept
should see
changing the
some of
lot
houses They
size.
built too, got their head opening like that under the doors.
Yeah,
They threw those houses together, and 5 years later, they got to go back and do all kind of work on them.
but growing up, me myself growing up, I mean, Mashpee was kind of, you had the corner store, you had Jim's package store, Miss Johnson's store that was down on the corner here. But there was nothing here, so people avoided Mashpee. They stayed on 28,
Yeah.
or, they went around. They didn't,
It went right
when
on.
we was kids growing up, people just
Recorded,
didn't,
now.
You being
people just
recorded?
didn't, they didn't come through Mashpee because they looked at it was like, there's nothing there. What do we gotta go to Mashpee for? There ain't nothing there.
But we was the only town on the Cape that were all people of color, like the Wigwam. People don't realize that Eddie Mitchell made that place because people of color couldn't go and stay at a hotel on Cape Cod. That's why he did business, because he, and
He had everything.
we had almost like a stigma on us because people go, oh no, you don't want to go to Mashpee, ain't nothing there but Indians, and it was good for us. But,
Yeah.
Stayed right out of
and
Mashpee.
I don't hold with that thing where they could go in there and see who owed taxes, and then, oh, I'm going to pay the back taxes, and then
Take the land.
that's like if I steal your car, as long as I put gas and oil in it, then it's mine. That ain't the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah. There's
They know
people
it.
that
They
owe
know it's
taxes,
illegal. Ken Mostert came to my family and he wanted us to give him. He knew he was building those houses over there by Quashnet Valley. He knew he didn't have clear title, and he wanted us to sign off so he could have clear title. And when we told him no, he goes, "Well, screw you then. I'm going to build them anyway."
Wow.
So he knew
That's
he's
true,
selling
they
those
did.
houses to those people, and he knows he don't have clear title. They don't have clear title.
There wasn't enough acreage for a fronting on the driveway that I couldn't build right next to Garden Green and Miss Jonas. Now, that same piece of land that I wanted, somebody from Barnstable bought it and built a house. That's how they would treat us, But what he hasn't got is clear title, because every time my father got a letter, I'd take it away from my mother so she couldn't sign off. And I said, if I ever get enough money, I'm going to take it back because the town of Barnstable let him have it. But when I wanted to build there wasn't enough space for a driveway.
Was that the piece that was like where Gordon Green lived? just next to it?
Right next to Garden Green, in between the Jonas and Garden Green. And he was the assessor, and he kept assessing over on Granville. I said, gee, but you keep moving over here. You know,
Yeah, 'cause
it's that land right there.
yeah, then they built that new house
Yeah,
there.
the guy came from, we was on the town of Barnstable, and he's from there. But he hasn't got clear title either, 'cause I made sure nobody signed off. And every letter the lawyers would send, I'd take them from
I
my
remember all
stepmother, so they couldn't
I
sign.
remember all them little houses, you know,
Yeah.
her house and then Miss Tina's house and then, you know, there was a few
Yeah.
other ones that was, you know,
You're not that old, you remember them, do you really?